Hey guys, it's just me, Robbie V. I'm reporting from my basement again. It's a little bit of a late night talk for you guys, so I've got my headset in because my roommate's upstairs. I hope you guys find the sound quality be okay. Let me know if you have any problems with it. Obviously, when I post it, I'll take a peek and see if it's good, but yeah, I hope it's good. Anyways, today I wanted to talk with you guys about some of the stuff that I learned in my support group. I'll probably be doing this every Thursday because every Thursday is when I go. But I figure it's a really good thing to share with you. If you've never been to a support group, it's not for something like Alcohol's Anonymous. Alcohol's Anonymous. Oh my gosh, I suck. Or like to deal with any of addictions or anything like that. It's actually just a group of people that are coming together to discuss life. This program started in November, and I have been working with Minds Over Matter, and I have been helping kind of go through some of the stages of self development, and there's kind of like we kind of created a scale to go off of and how we're going to kind of process through things because we want to have like a time frame, because eventually we're going to open up another support group. But this is the first one that we've done, which is interesting, and to be able to help coordinate and help run things and talk about things has been really awesome for me because it is one of my goals to be able to support a network of people and be able to use my story and things like that in order to help people along in their journey. So, yeah. Um, our support group started with self-esteem, we've done healthy boundaries, and now we're actually going on to goal setting. So we didn't get into too much today, but what we did talk about was how goal setting is really important and how, you know, in order for us to actually start addressing our goals, we need to first look at what we want in life. Whether that be something small or big, and having those be very attainable goals is also very important. Some people will go for goals that are just exponentially large, and it's not something that they actually will be able to attain, and then they start to fall back because they shoot for this extremely high goal, they're not able to attain it, and then when they hold themselves accountable for it and they don't actually make that goal happen and it doesn't happen for them, whether that be because of life situations, or they're just not putting in the right effort, or the goal is just so exponential that they're not able to actually set it up so that it's achievable. But anyways, once they have gotten to that point where they don't achieve it, it actually causes them to self-doubt, and it makes it very difficult for them to set a new goal because they are constantly setting these goals way too high, and then they're falling off track and it's not happening, and so they don't feel like setting goals are a good idea. So something that we talked about was just making sure that we are setting goals that are attainable, things that could be, you know, it doesn't have to be, for example, something that's materialistic. It can be something as simple as being a good friend, and how we can create different parts of us and alter different things in us in order to get to that next level. Something else that was mentioned during the meeting about setting a goal like that, some people find it very difficult to say, okay, well, I want to be a good friend, but how can you measure that? Is there a way to feel like you are starting to develop it? And how can, how can I feel like it's something I can attain when I don't even know where I'm going with it? And we didn't really break it down too much, but that was something that was mentioned. So I do personally have little things that can show, whether or not you are attaining that. For myself personally, I have gone through things like that. whether it be, having one relationship last a multitude of years versus another. How many struggles are you able to accomplish in those relationships? Little things like that, that you would normally fall off of, or your level of anxiety, or your level of emotional aspects when it comes to those relationships. If you feel like you're starting to relax a little bit more in your relationships, that could mean that your relationships are progressing in a good way, it's being beneficial, and you're doing something right. So I think everybody's constantly learning these things, and goals are very important in order to see where you're coming from, where you're going, and be able to address certain parts of ourselves that maybe get underlooked in some shape or form. Another thing that we had discussed was things like our stories. So many of you know about my story. Again, I always revert back to this forgiveness video that I had done. It shows you an introduction of my life, kind of some of the things that I have worked through. I do feel like I'm continuing to work through a lot of things on an internal level. I always want to improve. I always want to get better and better in life. And so feel free to look and follow that forgiveness video, like it, tell me what you think. If you ever want to comment on any of my other videos, please do. However, our stories are something that we should be really empowered by. And in order to feel that empowerment from those stories, you need to be able to see the things that you have achieved. So by actually setting a picture out for yourself, a goal, or something that you can see yourself achieving, it's going to make it so that you can use that as a beneficial thing. So you can see where you came from. You can allow yourself to address those things that you have accomplished. For me, a really big accomplishment would be even going to school for my fitness and nutrition. I went to school, and I always struggled with really getting something done, going all the way with a project. And to actually be able to take my time as an adult, go to school, get my fitness and nutrition, and actually allow that to be something that I have, I'm able to use in the future. And I did it on my own, which is amazing. And, some people struggle with that. Finishing projects is a big thing, and we procrastinate. And it's helped me feel like I'm able to do a little bit more. And that's the thing with goals, is when you set yourself up for achievement, and you give yourself something to look forward to, and you give yourself something to fight for, it makes everything else run a little bit smoother. It makes it, and when you accomplish it, it's like so much energy is absorbed through that. So if you feel like maybe you're not as enthusiastic about life, or you feel like you're kind of struggling, goals are a really great way for you to navigate through life. Again, another thing that we have talked about in our support group is how your goals are actually something that can help you figure out what your personal boundaries are too. So if you feel like you're not sure of your goal, you're not going to be able to actually set a boundary for yourself in order for you to make healthy decisions. So, and then knowing your self-esteem, knowing that, your self-esteem is highly important too when you're goal setting. Don't be down on yourself if you have to revisit a goal. It's not a big deal. You just have to, fix it up a little bit, change things. I mean, our lives are evolving, and yeah, that's about it. So that was kind of what we talked about during our support group. If you guys haven't been to a support group, I highly suggest it. I sometimes feel like I know so much, but yet I realize also I know so little. And by having people around you who are different from you, who are just looking for different answers, it's really nice to come together in a group and be able to have somebody else maybe have an opinion on something that you wouldn't have looked at before. So if you get an opportunity, look for a support group that you can kind of go to and talk about things. I know I mentioned that it was an addictions support group, but if you have addictions, please, if you can get any support, that is also a big thing. Coming from a self-assessed story of addictions and things like that, I have also dealt with not having some of the support that I might need, but also relying on family members and things to help me coast through that. Now I think it might have been a different situation if I did have a support group. That being said, you have to make that decision for yourself, and you have to go and get the help that you need. You can't rely on other people to do that for you. So if you know that there is a way for you to get help, please do. Regardless, that's kind of what happened today. I will be probably doing more late night talks with you guys about my support groups on a regular basis. I'm going to try not to repeat things, but sometimes in support groups, we go over, for example, this goals. We might talk about it, bring back different features and things that I discussed with you guys today. So there might be a little bit of repetitiveness with that, but who knows, maybe by watching it a second time, maybe you can pick something up from it. So don't be afraid to listen through it on the different days. Even if it's the same topic, it might spark an interest with you, and I may mention something that wasn't mentioned before that might create some energy for you to follow through on. So feel free to like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. And if you guys have anything you want me to talk about, I would be happy to discuss anything with you. If you guys are struggling with something and you want my opinion on it, please leave a comment about that. And yeah, you guys can also find me on Instagram, RobbieVM. You can find me on Twitter, Robbie_V. And I hope that we can come together and make some changes with one another and be strong and be courageous and fearless and love yourself and love humanity, because we all have some good inside of us, and I think sometimes we forget that. Be kind. Be kind, you guys. Much love.